What is good, everyone? Welcome to this video. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how you can learn to practice a walking meditation. Now, when it comes to shifting your reality, you need to learn how to identity shift, which is simply remaining in a single point of view. If you want to be a wealthy person, you need to ask yourself, how would I react to everything in my life if I was a wealthy person? So what I'm going to share with you is, by the purpose of this walking meditation, is going to allow you to become more conscious of how you react to things in your reality. Because when you're in stress, you are more likely to react out of impulse. And you're going to find it very difficult to shift your reality, to shift your identity, unless you learn to become more conscious and more aware. And this is the purpose of the walking meditation and what I'm going to share with you today. So when we are applying this walking meditation to our day-to-day life, the purpose of it is to practice presence. Because when you are present, it's much easier to react from your preferred point of view. Because again, when you are in stress, you react out of impulse. When you're in stress, things are going to happen to you and you're just going to react unconsciously. By becoming present, by becoming aware through that of the walking meditation, we can become conscious on how we choose to react to everything going on in our life. And remember, we are reacting from that new version of ourselves, that new point of view. We want to be non-attached and we want to embody the characteristics. So remember, when it comes to identity shifting, we want to be non-attached, but we want to embody the characteristics. And so the more we can keep awareness in our day-to-day life, the easier that we are going to find doing this. We're going to find it easier to hold and maintain that point of view when we realize, again, that's not who we truly are. We are the universal self. So we are not attached to this identity, but we are embodying the characteristics. And through that, of practicing a walking meditation, we're able to maintain more of this awareness through our day-to-day life, which is going to help navigate us into the new version of ourselves. Because when we're in stress, what actually happens is we activate our primitive state of being, our autonomous nervous system. Because the software that we still hold nowadays is the same as our ancestors held many, many years ago, that of a survival mechanism. So when that primitive and the autonomous nervous system is activated through stress, we switch on what is known as your fight and flight response. So if a tiger just came into your room right now, you would switch on this primitive, this fight or flight response. You would get flooded with adrenaline, and two thoughts would register through your mind. Either you've got to attack the tiger, fight, or you've got to get the hell out, flight. Okay, you are in survival mode. And when you're in this survival mode, you are kicked out of homeostasis. Your body is now out of balance. It just wants to keep you alive. But now you're kicked out of balance and out of this homeostasis, is because you're in stress. You can't react from this new version of yourself. And when you're in stress, is you become obsessed with time and distance. How much time do I have to get so I can jump over that river so the tiger doesn't eat me? Now, when we're in this state, when we're flooded with that adrenaline, when we're obsessed with time and distance, this is not a time to create. We can't react from the new version of ourselves. Because think about it. If you're in this stressful state, if you're in survival, if you're being attacked by this tiger, do you think that's a good time to ask yourself, how would the new version of me react to this situation? How would they react to not having enough money? How would they react to this type of relationship, to this event happening in your life? You can't create your reality when you're in this stress. And the reason you can't create it is because your brain waves are in what is known as high beta. You are highly aroused. You are in this survival state. And no new information can enter the nervous system that's not equal to the emotional response. So because you're in this high beta, your emotional response is going to be stress. So the only information that you are going to absorb into your nervous system is, how do I survive this situation? So you can't create your reality when you're in this high beta. And when it comes to wiring in that new version of ourselves, again, reacting from the new version of ourselves rewires the brain, and therefore over time starts to rewire our body into the new version of ourselves. And when we're in stress, we can't do that. We can't practice this neuroplasticity and epigenetics. And the problem is nowadays is our body still has this fight or flight response, but it's responding to being chased by a tiger to our everyday life. That includes things like your job, your career, your emails, perhaps your boss, even receiving texts on your phone. Is we're getting this spike of adrenaline on a more consistent basis because our body is responding as if the tiger is chasing us. And if we are consistently doing this, we are in no way able to create our reality. So when we practice this walking meditation, it's easier for us to become more conscious, to relax and switch out of this fight or flight response and choose to consciously react to things in our reality from that new point of view. Because when you're in stress, you try to predict things, you try to control everything. Because again, if you're being chased by the tiger, you've got to think, in your material world, what do I have to do in order to survive? And your brain is shifting from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. Have you ever been in that circumstance where you're just always thinking about the next thing? How much time do I have to finish this assessment? Or what's the distance so I don't miss the meeting? How far do I have to go so I don't miss this event? We're always thinking about time and distance. And when we're in this state, we are in that fight or flight response, even if it is minor. So you can see how this is having an effect on our day-to-day life. And when we're in this stress, when we are reacting to things because of this stress, we are in impulse and we continue to react from the old version of ourselves. So again, the purpose of this walking meditation is to shift out of a narrow focus. So again, when we have that fight or flight, when we have that primitive autonomous nervous system activated, we narrow our focus. So when we are doing a walking meditation, we want to expand our focus, and this switches off what is known as your sympathetic nervous system. So your sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight. And we switch over onto your parasympathetic nervous system, which we should be in most of the time. And many people have things like chronic illnesses, and this even affects their reality in a big way because people are more constantly in their sympathetic nervous system. Because again, when it comes to caveman lifestyle, when the tiger had passed, you could then be like, okay, I'm calm, I'm relaxed, everything is okay. And your body goes into that neutral state again. It goes into the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is when we heal. And this is also when we can create our reality. This is when we can react from the new version of ourselves. So we want to practice shifting from a narrow focus to an expanded focus. So imagine that we have our stick man or our stick woman here, and they have their energetic field going around their body. Now, we all have this energetic field and it can be measured in science. Now, what if you are walking down the street and you're having all of these thoughts in your mind? Perhaps something about your boss. Perhaps all of those emails that you need to answer. Something about your job. Or you keep receiving these demanding texts. Now, they're not quite as intense as being chased by a tiger, but they are still going to give you that spike of adrenaline and cortisol if it is in a negative way. And so our energetic field, what actually happens is, where do you think our body gets the energy to create this powerful chemistry within our body, to create this cortisol, to create this adrenaline? It takes it from our energetic field around our body. And this field starts to shrink. It shrinks around us. And we go into this survival mode. Now, we need an expanded energetic field around our body to respond from this new version of ourselves. Why? Because we need emotions. So, for example, if you are reacting from this new version of yourself, you need to know what it would feel like to react to a situation from your preferred point of view. Now, you can't react from this preferred point of view if you don't have the energy to produce that emotion in your body. So this is why we want to learn this walking meditation, because we shift out of that sympathetic nervous system into our parasympathetic nervous system. Our energy field starts to expand. We feel more calm, we feel more relaxed. And this is when the body says, okay, it's okay to go within ourselves. We're not focusing too much on the outer world. We're going within ourselves and we're asking, how would I respond to this situation from the preferred point of view? So all you need to do when you are practicing this walking meditation, and when it comes to meditation, again, all it is simply present. It's being present. So next time you are walking and you are noticing your mind is chattering away and you've got all of these things that you want to do, practice bringing yourself back to the present moment. Okay, your mind is shifting from the past or to the future. Shift it back to the present moment. Go for a walk in nature. Go for a walk down the street wherever you live, and ask yourself, what is actually going on around me? What can I see? What can I smell? And bring your focus more from narrow focus, what am I thinking about in the future, that time, that distance, to what is going on now. Expand your energy around your body and start to focus on what is actually going on around you. And you can do this, like when you wake up in the morning and you go to brush your teeth, focus on feeling the tap as you turn it on. Focus on the space around your body. Become present with what is actually going on. Try not to focus too much on what you have to do. Like, of course, yeah, we need to focus on things that we need to do, but when you are in a situation, be there 100%. And when you need to think about tasks and when you need to do things in your day-to-day life, do them. But when you have time, practice this presence and practice this walking meditation. When you're going to the grocery store, practice being present. What can you see? Look at the foods that you are actually trying to pick up. Become more conscious and more present. Now, if you find your thoughts are becoming too obsessive, or you've got a big thing going on that day and you can't seem to shift that thought, again, allow it to be there. Don't try and fight it. Don't resist it. It's just an experience that you are having, and it's what your mind is doing. Remember, you are not your mind. You are the universal self. You are the one who watches your mind, watches your emotions. So as soon as you become present of your own thoughts and of your own emotions, if you can't bring yourself to what's going on around you, just watch the thoughts, watch the emotions, allow them to be there, because you are still being present. And as you do this over time, you are going to get better and better at maintaining a stronger energetic field around your body. Therefore, finding it easier to react to things in your life from this new point of view, because you will find whenever you're in stress, whenever you can't, whenever you've got that heightened emotions, it's very difficult to react from that new point of view. But again, obviously in the previous videos, we discussed that of the healing. So if the emotion is too strong and you can't focus on the present moment, focus on what's going on in your body. So this is what we're going to practice. We're going to practice this walking meditation. You can start off just for 5-10 minutes a day, bringing your focus back to the present moment when you are going on a walk. And when you do this, you will notice this energetic shift. And it's this energetic shift which allows us to react more consciously to the things going on in our life, allowing us to wire in the new version of ourselves. So I will see you in the next video.